Today, we're grabbing the sources and shining a very bright, maybe uncomfortable light onto something you rarely get to see. The secret diaries of a junior doctor.
Yeah, and this isn't just, a collection of notes. It's meant to be an honest, sometimes brutally funny look behind the curtain of the medical profession.
That honesty seems key.
It really is. The author put these notes together specifically because they felt they needed to redress the balance.
Right.
Their view was that doctors are just too busy, too overworked to tell the public what their life is really like. So these diaries, they're kind of the shortcut for us, for you, to understand the exhausting, almost impossible truth of it all.
And that's basically our mission today, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to follow this doctor's pretty intense journey,
Mm-hmm.
right? From being a terrified, fresh out of med school house officer at HO all the way up to registrar, navigating this hierarchy in a system that sounds incredibly complex, bureaucratic, and definitely emotionally taxing.
And that initial shock, the reality hitting them, it's described as just staggering.
How so?
Well, the author walks in feeling like they could be a mastermind champion on the human body, armed with all this incredible theoretical knowledge.
Yeah, years of study.
Exactly. But they find out almost immediately that med school had zero bearing on the day-to-day reality. This Jekyll and Hyde existence, as they call it, of actually being a doctor.
Wow. That must be the definition of cognitive dissonance, right?
Right.
So how do they describe dealing with that initial gap, realizing all the book learning isn't enough?
Yeah, they put it very bluntly. They realized they had spent, a quarter of their life learning theory?
Yeah.
But essential practical skills, like
No.
putting in a Venflon, that little plastic tube for IVs,
Mm-hmm.
not covered. They actually had to teach themselves the night before their first shift
Seriously?
by apparently stealing a box of 80 of them from a ward and practicing on themselves. Left them with track marks for days, they said.
Oh my God, that's sink or swim, isn't it?
Right there. Absolutely. And that hierarchy you mentioned just throws them straight into the deep end. You start as the HO.
Then senior house officer, SHO, and then registrar.
Right.
And what's interesting, kind of psychologically, is that after just 1 year, you're still incredibly junior, Ire.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly they stick senior into your job title, SHO. It's presented as this, minor morale boost.
A little perk.
Yeah, but the author notes it hardly changes the terrifying reality of the workload.
Okay, let's unpack that reality then. Starting with the brutal grind, specifically night shifts. The author compares this time to making Dante look like Disney.
It's a powerful image. And they describe the house officer's job on nights as being responsible for every single patient in the entire hospital.
That scale of responsibility
Yeah.
on the most junior person, it's terrifying.
It really is. They use this brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
You're sailing a ship that's enormous. It's on fire.
Oh, wow.
And nobody's actually taught you how to sail it properly. You are the single point of failure for potentially hundreds of lives. And meanwhile, the senior doctors, they're often in A&E,
Yeah.
dealing with more specific things, right?
Mhm.
Like a broken leg or pneumonia.
Exactly. Distinct problems. But the HO, they're dealing with complex inpatients. It's like a build-your-own-burger of symptoms all layered on top of pre-existing conditions.
So you become this sort of,
A one-man, mobile, essentially untrained A&E department just moving between wards in the dark.
in that constant state of emergency, it's embodied by the bleep, isn't it? The pager.
Oh, the bleep. Yeah. The psychological toll of that device is described as incredibly real, often leading to this kind of PTSD-like conditioning.
I remember the story they told about finally getting a night off out at a pizza place.
That's the one, the little buzzer they give you for your table.
Yeah.
It had the exact same pitch, the same sound as the hospital bleep.
Oh, no.
The author just shot up reflexively, physically conditioned to respond to emergencies, check their pulse right after spiking at 95.
Just from a pizza buzzer.
That reaction tells you everything, doesn't it? About the constant stress they're living under.
And often, those bleeps weren't even real emergencies, were they? What was the most ridiculous one?
Oh, definitely being bleeped awake at 3 a.m. after finally managing to grab maybe half an hour's sleep.
Okay, what was the emergency?
To prescribe a sleeping pill for a patient who, when the doctor got to the bedside, was already fast asleep.
You're kidding.
Nope. It's that mix, the constant trivial interruptions alongside the potential for absolute catastrophe. That's what wears you down.
It sounds physically and mentally crippling. The exhaustion comes through so vividly, feeling like trying to bail out this sinking ship.
With nothing but a Sylvanian family rabbit's contact lens. Yeah. That sense of complete futility.
And the most terrifying part of that exhaustion?
Driving home, definitely. They talk about feeling like their reaction times were similar to being 3 pints deep.
That's incredibly dangerous.
It is. And that's not just a personal risk, is it? That's where the whole system, the understaffing, the overwork, becomes a danger to the public even before the doctor gets home.
If the job is that risky, psychologically and physically, it really makes you wonder, how are these people even selected? Let's link this back to that paradox of medical school admissions the sources mentioned.
Yeah, it's a really sharp critique of the whole gatekeeping process because everyone applying has the top grades, right?
Academically brilliant.
So the universities apparently fixate on extracurriculars, captain of the rugby team, leader of the orchestra, volunteering in Peru, that sort of thing.
It's described pretty cuttingly, isn't it? Like a miscongeniality contest without the sash.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on, well, actual compassion or empathy or just psychological fitness for dealing with years of trauma, it's selecting for CV polish over basic humanity.
The irony is just huge.
And the dark punchline they deliver is that maybe the system is, quote, not a rock-solid system.
Why?
Considering that Dr. Harold Shipman, the serial killer, apparently excelled in sports and athletics when he was young.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
It's a stark reminder that just relying on those kinds of metrics, it completely ignores the fundamental human element needed for the job.
So, okay, faced with that level of, existential dread and pressure, there must be moments of just sheer absurdity to keep them going.
Oh, definitely. Necessary tension relief. The list of nonsense patient symptoms they mention is just gold.
Like what?
Things like itchy teeth.
Itchy teeth?
Yep. Or sudden dramatic improvement in hearing. Or arm pain that only happens when they wee. Just bizarre stuff that lets the doctor have a quick internal chuckle.
But the foreign object stories, they're legendary, aren't they? Tell us about the man who fell.
Ah, yes. The sufferers of what the doctors apparently call Eiffel syndrome.
Because they always claim, I fell, doctor, I fell.
Ah.
The most memorable case was this handsome Italian man
Okay.
with most of a toilet brush stuck.
Yeah.
Bristles first.
Oh, God, no.
Yep. It ended up needing a colostomy bag. It just shows the sheer, sometimes deliberate absurdity of human behavior. And you can't forget the bizarre romance involving the Kinder Surprise egg.
Oh, that one. Truly a romantic gesture gone sideways.
What happened?
A patient's partner hid an engagement ring inside the chocolate egg and then inserted it vaginally as part of the proposal,
Right.
which unfortunately meant the doctor had to retrieve the ring using sponge-holding forceps. Good intentions, a terrible delivery mechanism.
Wow. Okay, so beyond the outright absurd, there are really serious diagnostic challenges too, things that can turn on tiny details. The sources really hammered the importance of asking about over-the-counter stuff, herbal remedies.
Absolutely critical. They described this patient whose blood clotting was just all over the place, totally erratic.
And the cause.
Turned out she was taking St. John's wort, very common herbal supplement, often for anxiety.
Right.
But it was dangerously interacting with her prescribed warfarin, the blood thinner.
And the expert's reaction when the patient was shocked that a natural remedy could be dangerous.
Perfect dry humor. Something like, apricot stones contain cyanide? Natural does not equal safe.
Huh. A sobering lesson, really. For everyone.
Then you get the flip side, the potential diagnostic arrogance, even from senior staff. They detail this zebra versus horse issue.
Explain that.
Okay, so a senior colleague dismisses the junior doctor's concerns about a patient having excessive pain after a termination procedure. The senior says, when you hear hooves clip-clopping outside, it's usually horses, not zebras.
Meaning, look for the common diagnosis, not the rare one.
Exactly. Don't overthink it.
But in this case?
It was a zebra, a ruptured ectopic pregnancy, needed emergency surgery. The initial scan before the termination had been dangerously wrong.
Wow.
It just highlights how even the most experienced doctors can make really catastrophic assumptions sometimes.
And these systemic flaws, they aren't just in diagnosis, are they? There are regulatory and ethical tensions all over the place. Like the tragic example of the Jehovah's Witness patient.
Yeah, refusing a life-saving blood transfusion because of the belief that blood contains the soul.
That's the ultimate conflict, isn't it? Medical duty versus patient autonomy.
Absolutely. And the author mentions that consultants back in the, quote, good old days might have just ignored the refusal form, transfused anyway while the patient was under anesthetic.
But not anymore.
No. Today, you have to respect that choice, even if you profoundly disagree. It makes it an incredibly difficult, wrenching thing to witness.
Or just sheer baffling bureaucracy getting in the way. I love the story about the IT department blocking the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists website.
Yes. Classified as pornography by some overzealous web filter.
Ridiculous.
It's funny, but the technical failure that really shows the risk in the system was that catastrophic computer upgrade they went through.
Ah, the vitamin B12 test story. Tell us about that.
Right, so this upgrade slowed the whole hospital IT system down to basically unusable. To order a simple vitamin B12 test, which you need for treating even mild anemia, meant manually scrolling down this massive alphabetical list.
How long did it take?
3 minutes and 17 seconds just to order one test.
That's insane.
And the author pointed out, if a patient was severely anemic, needing urgent treatment, they'd probably be dead by the time I've done so. Bureaucracy literally costing lives by delaying urgent care.
Moving into our final section now.
Yeah.
It's so clear the job doesn't just strain the hospital system. It seems to systematically erode the doctor's actual personal life, their stability. How did the constant moving affect them?
It forces this constant upheaval. Doctors have to move hospitals every 6 or 12 months, apparently, to get broad experience.
Right.
They compare it to being like a Shaolin grandmaster always moving on, but with absolutely zero relocation costs paid for.
So making roots, friendships, long-term relationships.
Nearly impossible. You're forced into this nomadic existence.
And what does that do to the relationships you do manage to form or keep?
Well, the partners essentially become a medical widow, they say,
Yeah.
or a post-shift counselor, and they have to be nomadic too.
That's a huge ask.
It is. The author talks about being constantly exhausted at home, feeling like they were just no fun to be around. That strain is immense.
And the financial reality behind all this sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's genuinely shocking. What was the hourly rate again for a first-year SHO?
It worked out, apparently, at £6.60 an hour.
£6.60.
Less than a McDonald's shift supervisor, as they point out. They often had to work extra shifts, locum shifts, on their days off just to cover the cost of missing a weekend social event or to try and save for a flat deposit.
For a job needing years of study, huge debt, life and death responsibility.
The pay structure just seems completely unsustainable.
And amidst all that instability, financial strain, they're carrying this huge emotional weight,
Yeah.
constant trauma, that first death they witness.
Yeah, that's something they say never leaves you. They describe seeing a patient die from esophageal varices bleeding in the throat, a really visceral description of the sound. The poor man choking as blood filled his lungs.
That's graphic.
That kind of trauma sticks with you long after the shift ends.
Equally tough, it sounds like, is the ritual of actually pronouncing death. That story about performing the checks while the grieving wife watched.
Having to do that fixed 5-minute observation check on the patient while the wife insisted on watching every single second. Agonizingly.
How did they cope?
The author felt like they could audition as a living statue in Covent Garden, just struggling to stay absolutely motionless, impassive under this intense emotional scrutiny, while also trying desperately to respect the wife's grief. It's an impossible performance, really.
And hovering over all of this is the fear of litigation, isn't it? The stress that follows you home.
Oh, that fear is huge. Getting a lawsuit letter, even for a known documented complication like a bladder injury during a C-section, which has a stated risk, like 1 in 200.
Even then,
It causes profound anxiety, guilt, exhaustion. The patient had signed the consent form acknowledging the risk, but the doctor still had to spend hours and hours compiling evidence, writing responses.
taking a huge toll on their already non-existent personal time.
Exactly.
And ultimately, all this pressure,
Yeah.
it leads to a breaking point. For the author, it sounds like it was a specific tragic event.
Yes. A tragic fetal death due to an undiagnosed condition, placenta previa. It was a case where the author was the most senior person present, and they felt they'd failed.
How did that affect them?
It fundamentally changed how they practiced medicine afterwards. It led straight to defensive medicine, performing unnecessary C-sections, becoming hyper-cautious about everything. They even mentioned sacrificing training opportunities for junior colleagues just to ensure, quote, everyone got out of there alive.
So that protective instinct, it kind of warps the practice itself.
Yeah, it prioritizes self-preservation, maybe understandable self-preservation, over the ideals of teaching, efficiency, maybe even optimal care
And
sometimes.
it forces that final, awful realization. The bus full of dead kids analogy.
The grim understanding that over a long career, adverse outcomes, tragedies, they're just statistically inevitable. You can't prevent everything.
And that led the author to leave medicine.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Decided to leave medicine entirely for, of all things, comedy writing.
Which brings us to the kind of profound conclusion in the sources, doesn't it?
It really does. The job is terrible. The hours, the pay, the conditions, all terrible. You're underappreciated, unsupported, disrespected.
Yeah.
Yet somehow it remains the best job in the world because of that immense privilege of actually helping people, sometimes saving lives.
And the sources reveal the real payoff isn't the money or the status,
Yeah.
it's the patience.
Absolutely. The doctor kept every single thank you card they ever received,
Wow.
describing them as the little fist bumps that kept me going, especially when superiors offered basically zero praise or recognition.
It's a really powerful testament to what actually motivates people in medicine, isn't it?
It is. And the final thought the author wants to leave you, the public, with is this. Next time you hear politicians attacking the health service,
Yeah.
remember the incredible toll this job takes on every single person working in it. The critical realization they suggest is that your time in the hospital, it may well hurt them a lot more than it hurts you.
A deeply felt warning and, yeah, powerful summary of the costs involved on the front line. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.